The rise and fall of Oreshnik, the Russian missile that became Putin's disgrace. In the context of the Russian-Ukrainian conflict escalation, few weapons have captured the imagination of the propaganda machine as much as the Russian medium-range ballistic missile Oreshnik. This hypersonic missile was presented by Putin as an unrivaled superweapon, capable of hitting European capitals in a matter of minutes and overcoming all known defense systems. Putin has repeatedly touted it as a symbol of Russia's technological superiority, even announcing plans to mass-produce and deploy it in Belarus, but behind this bravado lies a history of repeated failures, technical failures, and empty promises that exposes the vulnerabilities of Russia's military-industrial complex. Let's delve into the complex circumstances of the Oreshnik story, drawing on verified reports and analysis to understand how reality destroyed Putin's pride. By the way, Oreshnik means hazelnut in Russian. The missile, later named Oreshnik, appeared against the backdrop of Russia's continued aggression against Ukraine and is presented as a direct response to Western support for Kyiv, including the use of British, French and American long-range missiles, Storm Shadow, Scalp and ATACMS. Originally developed in Soviet times in Ukraine at the defense enterprise, Yuzhmash in the city of Dnipro, this missile later became a Russian-modified version of the RS-26 Rubez intercontinental ballistic missile, NATO reporting name, SS-931. Oreshnik received less fuel to comply with international arms control agreements on long-range systems. Putin described this rocket masterpiece as hypersonic, capable of speeds up to 10 times the speed of sound, and capable of carrying nuclear warheads or kinetic projectiles that fall to the ground like a meteorite, creating temperatures of about 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit, higher than the surface of the Sun. The missile's claimed range allows for rapid strikes. From Belarus it can reach London in about 8.8 minutes, Paris in 8.3 minutes, and Kyiv in less than 3 minutes. Putin has said it is impossible to intercept, a claim that has been picked up by Russian propaganda, telling tales of its potential to attack NATO bases in Germany, Romania, and beyond. The missile's first combat test took place on November 21, 2024, when Russia launched a non-nuclear variant from the Kapustin Yar test site in Astrakhan, targeting a defense plant in Dnipro, Ukraine. Media footage showed 6 warheads hitting nearby targets, and the Pentagon confirmed the missile's high speed, initially believing it to be an intercontinental ballistic missile, but none of Putin's claimed 10 sound speeds were present. By August 2025, Putin announced the start of mass production, presenting Oreshnik as a strategic deterrent to Western escalation. Plans to deploy the weapon in Belarus further increased the threat, shortening the flight time to European targets and underscoring Putin's reliance on such weapons to project power in the face of setbacks in Ukraine. Despite the initial success in Dnipro, the success of Oreshnik quickly declined. A second attempt failed 2 days after the first launch, on November 23, 2024. The missile, likely aimed at Kyiv or a site in the Carpathians near NATO's borders, missed its target. It was indeed a failed launch to demonstrate escalation, but the exact details of the failure remain unclear. This early failure hinted at more serious problems that suggest the missile may not be fully operational for another 5 to 7 years. In February 2025, there were reports of another failed launch by Kyiv. Oreshnik was launched from Astrakhan but fell on Russian territory before flying far. An air raid alert was issued in Kyiv, but no explosion occurred and the alert was cancelled after 31 minutes. May 2025 brought further trouble for Russian propaganda. It was reported that a second attempt to launch Oreshnik also failed. By June 2025, footage from Kazakhstan showed the object disintegrating in the sky, sparking rumors that Oreshnik had failed in flight. The Kazakhstan Defense Ministry conducted an investigation, suggesting that it could have been a piece of spacecraft debris, a meteorite, or even a fragment of a Chinese missile, considering a Russian missile unlikely due to the divergence of trajectories. The incident has generated much speculation, some linking it to Russia's response to Ukrainian drone strikes on air bases. Further incidents exacerbated the situation. In July 2025, a missile, presumably Oreshnik, was launched from Crimea towards Odessa, but lost stability in flight and fell into the Black Sea. Thus, as of early July 2025, Oreshnik had suffered 7 failed launches, indicating systemic problems. These failures mirror those of other Russian systems, such as the horrific explosion of the so-called Sarmat intercontinental ballistic missile during a test in 2024 and the failed launch of a similar Yars missile in May 2025. The Oreshnik's problems have not gone unnoticed. Ukrainian officials have dismissed Russian threats as attempts to terrorize Kyiv, predicting failure. Belarusian dictator Lukashenko once said that Putin rejected a proposal to strike Zelensky's office with the missile, saying, "No way," implying doubts about its accuracy. Its likely circular deviation exceeds 3.5 kilometers. Oreshnik's failures reflect Russia's limited resources and weak scientific and technical capabilities. Oreshnik has become a laughingstock, showing its unreliability amid the mockery of Putin. Everything points too clearly to Russia's problems with its military potential, a stalled offensive in Ukraine, the fall of ally Bashar al-Assad in Syria, and an over-reliance on propaganda. The story of Oreshnik echoes the Cold War arms race, where hyped weapons often concealed real flaws. Thus, what Putin presented as his invincible weapon actually exposed Russia's technological backwardness. At the moment, Oreshnik remains more of a false symbol than an achievement, a nut that turned out to be difficult to crack, much to Putin's shame. Despite all the failures with Oreshnik, ordered it to be put into mass production. The series of failures with the Oreshnik did not become a warning for Russia. In modern warfare, noise alone does not guarantee victory.